Whether of physical security, emotional security, or any other form of security, it is subjected, of course, the presence of this outer security. What it is not the case in the life in the light. In the light, life is the light that satisfies you, are not the circumstances of his life, the facilities or the inconveniences of what you have to live. These facilities or inconvenience, these changes nothing, absolutely nothing, both in its humor, in your consciousness, as the joy that is in you. You do not depend on anything ephemeral. You know that you are ephemeral, and yet, you have transcended this ephemeral. And yet, even if a harmful or fatal event arrives, you cannot be in any way altered by this event. Therein lies the power and the force of the light. There's the truth of the will of the light. But they cannot coexist, in you, a personal will and the will of the light. Lisieux Teresa, August 17, 2012. Through a series of constraints, through a series of fears that were installed in you, since even the creation of this world and manifested through sophisticated their society architecture, fear of unemployment, fear of disease, fear of death, fear addition, fear of losing a child, everything is an excuse to fear. And everything is an excuse to find scenarios or securities that will remove these fears, artificially. The only way to suppress fear, see, is to live the inner vibration. This gradually sets in the day you actually get to live in stability of open and vibrant heart, fear will get away from you, definitely, whatever that happens to them. Fear nothing can against heart vibration. Absolutely nothing. Anale, October 17, 2009. Ponder that, always. Next, you need to make the choice between what you call security, you have built, the bulwarks, or even the walls you have built around your heart to protect yourself from the fear of failure. Fear it, fear it. You will need to make the choice of this false, random security, of course, and the safety of the heart. You prefer to be in apparent harmony with the elements through which built, and each other, at different levels? Or will you prefer the security of heart? The problem is that most experiences a spiritual will, but not wanting to let go of the rest. But it does not work well, either in normal times, let alone in such short times. Want to believe and want to think that, before finding the spiritual, is necessary to ensure the material conditions, it is a false reality, because spirituality is that of Christ told his apostles before they became apostles, let the dead bury the dead, drop everything and follow me. Silo, November 11, 2007. Question: how to regain confidence, serenity? Provided back to the inside, to the heart, because, abroad, there is no security. All external security are illusory, temporary and fictitious. The work safety suppress their fears of tomorrow. Affective security suppress their fears of abandonment. The material safety suppress your fears to miss. The safety suppresses the fear of it. The only real security is the security of heart. Out of it are false security that keep them from their heart. No need to think of trust, serenity, security. You have to think of love, the light, the Father within you, is all. Want, at all costs, to stick to something outside to find something solid, quoted by a person through a place, through a situation, the need to reassure into something solid, but is to cheat in some way because today is demanded find that solidity itself. It is himself that is solid, it is not the outside. Regarding the sky falling on your head, there is only you who are solid. O.M. Anhav, November 11, 2007. They believe, indeed, that all that you have called, to the present, the safety, whether a security material order, a security affective, a security social order, has no more place to be next to you. You must be like children, advance naked and free to welcome the new dimension that comes to you and to be able to evolve there in all serenity. In these last operation schemes, I include, of course, their illnesses, their suffering, which you have called your karma. It is important to address this again with a new look, with a light heart, with a liberated soul weights of matter. It should also remain perfectly aligned and centered, so that they can integrate fully, these lifting light energy that comes to you, in order to freely assume their choices freely consented. It's not all have chosen, it is also important to conform to their own choices, to be in accordance with what your soul decided to try in the times to come. Maria, April 19, 2007. the fear is embodied in the person's insecurity and the personal limitation. There is then an element to transcend, which corresponds, in its broadest sense, the I enunciate as in selected terms, the love of your little person and not a great person. Gabriel, June 18, 2011. It is extremely rare that the human being, in the third dimension, is able to overcome periods of extremely intense crisis to restore something. The idea of returning from on solid foundations on healthy bases is heresy, because even the human constitution. So the serenity that is experienced may seem to be something that goes to the direction of repair, the sense of harmony, but, generally, very often, very often, it's just an illusion, is a bomb placed to camouflage much deeper wounds and much deeper resentment. What do you mean that the balance is found again? So is an imbalance that leads to something much more important. O.M. Anhov, July 6, 2006. The example that you have today, this end of this false material security, is the most tragic example that human beings had to live and try to overcome. Do not hide behind the illusion of I press a button and have the light. Our false security. The human being, even in the incarnation, lived other civilizations that reached while being incarnated, a potential awakening, a potential of righteousness, I would say, much more evolved. I would say, even, that Western society has an awakening potential. Everything was done to intimidate, burning, prevent his divinity made manifest, through what is called humanism, through social, through politics, through economics. Everything was done to prevent to realize their spiritual potential. There, it is important to assimilate. Also the second thing, and I repeat, once again, this out of your heart, no salvation. There is no alternative. These are things that occur every great breath of humanity. You are at this time. O.M. Anhov, August 12, 2007. Thus, the human being is made, through its incarnation structures, to seek safety. But today, security is illusory. You see it effectively in the evolution of your world in this end of Kali Yuga, the dark age, in which nothing is safe. The only security you have is in your inner and your inner star. Marnanda Moye, May 18, 2008. The ego tends to tell you that you should be inserted in a certain form of security that is illusory, because the only security is in you, it lies at the heart level. Everything else is an illusion and alienates them this truth. Ram, September 4, 2008. When you are under the influence and under the action of light vibrato, entirely, grace is established and nothing will miss them ever, ever, ever. Fear leads to lack, confidence leads to security, it is that simple. When you are in joy, when they are in unity vibration, they can in no way be lacking, nothing will miss them, ever. This is an absolute rule of light, but requires an abandonment to the light and a trust in the light, total. It's beyond belief. O.M. Anhov, February 19, 2011. Remember that there are only two fires during this period: ego fire, the and fear of the ego, and the heart fire and the opening of the heart. Whoever remains in the known and do not want to live the unknown, which is established in some form of security, whether professional, material, emotional or otherwise, has no desire, nor any desire to live other than that in which it is good. Friend, September 28, 2011. The outside influences are made by vibrating affinities. If you think negative, you attract the forces of the universe that are part of the shadow side. If you think bright, attracts the forces of the universe coming from the bright side. It is only a matter of vibratory affinity and harmony. There is no alternative. O.M. Anhub 1/2, January 23, 2008. You attract to you what is repressed in its interior or that is unapparent, but, however, present in its interior. You attract to you what you are, nothing more, nothing less. If you draw flowers, it is that you are in flower size. If you attract aggression, it is in you aggression. Anale, January 30, 2010.